What drives a person to destroy something beautiful, something shared, something sacred to a community? In the quiet town of Willow Creek, where the hum of cicadas filled the summer air and neighbors greeted each other with warm smiles, the answer came in the form of Karen Mitchell, a woman whose name would soon be whispered with disdain. Her story wasn't just about a single act of vandalism. It was about pride, rage, and the devastating consequences of a heart hardened by resentment. It began on a sweltering July evening, under the dim glow of streetlights, when the town's beloved tennis court became her canvas for chaos. Karen wasn't always the villain of Willow Creek. Once, she was a respected figure, a high school math teacher with a knack for making calculus feel like poetry. She had a sharp wit, a contagious laugh, and a garden of vibrant Karen flowers, their delicate white petals a symbol of purity and renewal. Her students adored her, and her neighbors admired her meticulous lawn, where those flowers bloomed in perfect rows. But beneath the surface, Karen harbored a growing bitterness. Her husband, Tom, had left her 2 years prior for a younger woman, taking half their savings and her sense of self-worth. The divorce left her isolated, her laughter replaced by a scowl that seemed to deepen with each passing day. The tennis court, just a block from her house, was the heart of Willow Creek. It was where kids learned to swing their first rackets, where retirees played doubles on Sunday mornings, and where teenagers like Mia Alvarez found solace after school. Mia, a 16-year-old with dreams of a tennis scholarship, spent hours perfecting her serve on that court. It was her sanctuary, a place where she could escape her family's financial struggles and the weight of being the first in her family to aim for college. The court's faded green surface and slightly cracked lines were a testament to the town's love for it, a shared space that held memories of triumph and joy. Karen, however, saw the court differently. To her, it was a symbol of everything she'd lost. The laughter of children playing there echoed the family she no longer had. The couples who played doubles reminded her of the love she'd been denied. And Mia, with her relentless optimism and tireless practice, became an unwitting target of Karen's envy. Why does she get to dream so big? Karen muttered to herself one evening, watching Mia from her porch. The Karen flowers in her garden seemed to wilt under the weight of her resentment, their once bright petals curling inward. It was on that fateful night, July 11th, 2025, that Karen's anger boiled over. She'd overheard Mia talking about a local tournament, her voice brimming with hope. Something snapped. Karen grabbed a can of red spray paint from her garage, a relic from a home improvement project she'd abandoned after the divorce. Under the cover of darkness, she crept to the tennis court, her heart pounding not with fear but with a twisted sense of purpose. She scrawled venomous words across the court's surface. Worthless, failure, give up. The paint dripped like blood, staining the green with her rage. She didn't stop until the can was empty, her hands trembling with adrenaline. As she slipped back into the shadows, she felt a fleeting sense of triumph. She'd struck back at the world that had wronged her. The next morning, Willow Creek woke to a collective gasp. The tennis court, their pride and joy, was defaced. Mia arrived for her morning practice and froze, her racket slipping from her hand. The words glared at her, each one a dagger to her dreams. Parents whispered in horror, and the town's mayor, Clara Thompson, vowed to find the culprit. The community rallied, but the damage was done not just to the court, but to the sense of safety and trust that had defined Willow Creek. Enter Javier Ruiz, a retired detective who'd moved to Willow Creek for a quiet life. Javier was an unexpected twist in this tale, a man whose sharp instincts hadn't dulled with age. He'd been sipping coffee on his porch when he noticed Karen's late-night absence and the faint smell of paint in the air. Suspicious, he began asking questions, piecing together clues that others overlooked. A discarded paint can in Karen's recycling bin, a neighbor's report of her pacing at odd hours, and a security camera from a nearby gas station capturing her silhouette near the court, it all pointed to her. Javier didn't want to believe it. Karen had been kind to him when he first moved in, sharing her Karen flowers to brighten his garden. But the evidence was undeniable. When the police confronted Karen, she didn't deny it. Instead, she lashed out. "They don't deserve that court," she screamed, her voice raw with pain. "They don't know what it's like to lose everything." Her outburst shocked the officers, but it was Mia's reaction that cut deeper. Standing in the crowd, tears streaming down her face, Mia whispered, "Why me? What did I do to her?" The question hung in the air, unanswered, as Karen was led away in handcuffs. The civil lawsuit that followed was swift and merciless. The town sued Karen for damages, not just for the cost of repainting the court but for the emotional toll on the community. Mia's family, supported by Clara and Javier, argued that the vandalism had targeted Mia's dreams, robbing her of her safe space. The court agreed. On a gray November morning, the judge delivered the verdict. Karen was to pay $160,000 in fines and damages, a sum that would bankrupt her. She stood in the courtroom, her once proud posture broken, her eyes hollow. The Karen flowers in her garden, now neglected, had withered to nothing. But the story didn't end with justice served. The twist came in the form of Mia's response. At the trial, she took the stand, her voice steady despite her trembling hands. "I don't want her to suffer," she said. "I just want my court back. I want to play again." Her words stunned the room. Mia, the girl who'd lost so much, chose forgiveness over vengeance. She didn't want Karen's money. She wanted healing for herself, for the town, and even for Karen. It was a moment of grace that shifted the narrative, reminding everyone that humanity could shine even in the darkest moments. Karen, however, couldn't accept it. The weight of her actions, the shame of her exposure, and the loss of her home to cover the fine consumed her. She moved away from Willow Creek, leaving behind her garden and her memories. The town rebuilt the tennis court, painting it a vibrant green with new lines that gleamed under the sun. Mia returned to her practice, her serve stronger than ever, but the victory was bittersweet. The court was whole again, but the community bore scars. Neighbors looked at each other with a hint of suspicion, wondering who else might harbor such hidden rage. Years later, Javier found a single Karen flower blooming in his garden, a seed carried from Karen's old yard. He stared at it, its delicate petals a stark contrast to the destruction it had once symbolized. He wondered if Karen had ever found peace, if she'd ever understood the pain she'd caused. The flower was beautiful, but its roots were tangled in a story of loss and regret. Mia went on to win her scholarship, her name etched on a plaque at the tennis court as Willow Creek's pride. But every time she stepped onto the court, she remembered the words painted in red, the sting of betrayal, and the choice she'd made to forgive. The town moved on, but the memory of Karen's act lingered, a cautionary tale of how resentment could poison even the purest of hearts. In the end, the Karen flowers in Willow Creek bloomed again, but they carried a different meaning now, not of purity, but of resilience, of a community that chose to rebuild rather than destroy. And Karen? She faded into obscurity, her name a whisper on the wind, a reminder that some wounds, once inflicted, could never fully heal. ND